Welcome. Moving forward to our next series of expected topics for UPSC. This is our 13th lecture in the series of the 20 lectures. So, in this section, we'll focus on social issues, very important for your upcoming prelims as well as mains examination. So, the first one is India's position in the Olympic ranking dropped from 48 to 71 in Paris, but India secured 6 medals in Paris Olympics, 1 silver, 5 bronze, and there was a decline which had been seen from the Tokyo Olympics. But again, the medal count has been important. And why this Olympics is really important for a nation? Because it brings in health, it is an indicator of health, well-being, economic growth, the nation's pride, social development, and global competitiveness across each subject. Now, sports is a state subject in India, and the primary responsibility to develop sports lies within the respective states or the union territories. Center, however, provides the funding and the development support, but India's only 6% population participates in the sports as compared to United States, where the population is around 20%. Now, one important thing to note of the low participation rate and the challenges in the India's ecosystem is the future opportunities for the sports player are limited. There are challenges in the process of recruitment, in the process of selection, in the process of training, and the remote areas from where the aspirants come in and the facilities aren't at par. So there are infrastructural gap, there are governance issues, management problems, disqualifications because of various reasons, doping as one of those. So for example, to promote this, Kerala government has started with the initiative One Panchayat, One Playground, One State, One Sport, to encourage mass participation in traditional sports. So Rajasthan's Rural Olympics is kind of one that is promoted for more ideas, right? The next is the immunization in India. So 2.7 million people or children worldwide are either not vaccinated or partially vaccinated, and more than half of the unvaccinated children are actually within the 31 nations. Now, India accounts for nearly 1.3 million children under 5, and of that, 17,000 children die globally each day. India accounts for nearly 21% of the global deaths under 5, and these deaths have to be reduced significantly, and there is an estimated downfall in a significant way. Now, some of the vaccinations which are really important and have been promoted by WHO and UNICEF include DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. There is a setback in the immunization track that was seen during the COVID pandemic. However, we are trying to catch it up. India does not include HPV under the immunization program, despite cervical cancer being the second most prevalent cancer in females, accounting for 18% of the total female cancers. Now, also, there are programs like Indradhanush, Mission Indradhanush talks about providing universal vaccination, and this was to catch up specifically for the children up to 5 years of age who have missed their vaccine. The program covers 12 diseases, that is diphtheria, pertussis, which is a whooping cough, and then tetanus. Besides that, polio, TB, measles, hepatitis B, meningitis, pneumonia, Japanese encephalitis, and rubella, measles, rubella are some of those. But again, there are challenges: inadequate trained persons, inadequate door-to-door campaigns, no centralized record which could help us meet the target are some of the major issues. The next is safety of healthcare professionals. Now, there has been a committee established to understand this in light of the RG Kar Medical College case in Kolkata, that there should be adequate staffing, fair working conditions, proper training, violence prevention, legal protection should be given, and to ensure this, strengthening the infrastructure, security, revamping the working conditions are really important, and healthcare professionals, their role, their efforts have to be very crucial in the same thing. So issues related to safety of healthcare professionals has been very important, and IMA in one of the studies has cited that one third of the doctors, especially female practitioners, feel unsafe during their night shift duty. There are poor infrastructures, lack of screening equipments at the entrance. There are unrestricted entry of the number of patients and their support attendants. So those are some of the things that should be checked. The next is mental health and well-being of medical students. Now, medical students have been facing huge stress conditions in terms of academic pressure, sleep deprivation, competitive environment, emotional burden, lack of work-life balance, and limited support system. So what is really important to understand is to have an online survey that talks about the undergraduate, postgraduate children and the number of rising cases for the suicides. Also, NIMANS has indicated that 23% of the school children in India have started to face mental health problems at some point of time. There have been prevalence of 7% psychiatric disorders among the adolescents in the age group of 13 to 17 years, which is a very high figure. Again, the Schizophrenia Foundation in Chennai revealed that 30% of the students are suffering from anxiety or depression and need an urgent effort to have a better healthcare system. So mental health is a state of well-being and its ability to do your normal functions without stress in the daily life. There are several factors which have been contributing to the mental health problems in the medical profession, which is specifically in the form of failing examination, public humiliation, social media coverages, disrupted sleep patterns, social isolation, loneliness, dysfunctional families, hormonal changes as some of the major ones. And then again, financial crunch, because the age at that they reach the earning segment of the society is delayed. Highly competitive academic pressure in cities where coaching institutes have been one of the key things. So there has been a helpline which is known as Telemanas Helpline, which is a toll-free number 14416 that ensures immediate assistance. There is rising awareness among the healthcare workers, educators. Policy reforms are important for the same. The next is UNESCO has talked about sports and gender equality game plan, and before the Olympics, it focused on the issues of gender disparity in the sports and talked about gender inclusive policies to promote sports, increase women leadership, reduce violence, which is gender directed, increase female participation, and equal recognition and support. So, increasing cases of sexual abuse with female athletes have been noticed, and that is one of the reasons of high dropout rate among the female adolescent athletes, which is 6 times higher than boys. Then there is gender inequality, which has been cited, and the number of highest paid athletes, there is no women that occur in the top 50. So there are various addresses to address this, which includes the gender responsive strategies, gender equality in the sports, in the sections of leadership, governance, and eradicating any kind of violence. The next is the project which is known as Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. Now this is the Pradhan Mantri Janjati Unnat Karyakram, which aims to improve the socio-economic living conditions of the tribal communities, focusing on holistic development, better infrastructure, better education and healthcare, and the funding for that going on to the special segment. So there are various programs which have been created under this, and this also talks about increasing the tribal tourism, which talks about the homestays which are promoted under Swadesh Darshan initiative. Construction of 5 to 10 homestays in each village in the tribal locality, and each household can earn or can actually earn because of this tourism. At the first go, they have to invest around 5 lakhs to build 2 new rooms and 3 lakhs to renovate the existing rooms. That's the support that's being provided under the Swadesh Darshan scheme. And then there are centers of competence that would be established. So there are alternative initiatives for economic development of the tribal population in the form of Eklavya model residential villages, schools, which is from class 6 to class 12. Then the Pradhan Mantri Van Bandhu Vikas Yojana to actually develop entrepreneurs from the scheduled tribes youth. Establishment of Vandan Vikas Kendra are some of the initiatives. The next important one, of course, the very important one is the Swachh Bharat Mission, which talks about the 10th anniversary of its inception. Swabhav Swachhata Sanskar Swachhata is the main theme around which this Swachh Bharat Divas 2024 was celebrated with three important pillars. The one was Swachhata ki Bhagidari, Sampurna Swachhata, and then Safai Mitra Suraksha Shivir, which is a single window welfare for healthcare workers, the health and sanitation workers, right? Now, the next one that we would understand is the development in the field of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which is for the health coverage, and this health coverage has been extended to all senior citizens above 70 years of age, regardless of their income category. Now, this aims to benefit nearly 4.5 crore families, providing free healthcare insurance of 5 lakh per year to each family. So this access itself is a very big boost within the economy and to the common people, right? So healthcare coverage, which is one of the subjects, as we have seen the public healthcare system in Canada, the similar systems could be implemented in India, and if implemented, it would definitely percolate its benefits deeper. The next is child sexual abuse and exploitation material. Now, this has been under the provisions of Protection of Children, POSCA Act 2012. Now, this talks about protecting the children, and the rulings have been overturned where talking about the issues under the Chennai court have been focused on. The next that we would focus on is the POSCA Act 2012, which is again a very, very important act. The next is the harassment of women at workplace. Under this, the Justice Hema Committee report has been brought. Now, similarly, you could have the various names of the committees, and you could be asked to match which committee relates to which important development in the society. So again, this Hema Committee and the developments and the initiatives have been really important. The next is women-led self-help groups. Now, there is a recent function which was held in Jalgaon in Maharashtra talking about the 11 lakh newly recognized Lakhpati Didis scheme. Now, it talks about bringing in quality training, digital empowerment, bringing in awareness, being funded by the central government. This would actually strengthen the basis where this would be a standalone scheme, a result of Deen Dayal Antodaya National Rural Livelihood under the Ministry of Rural Development, and this would actually promote each rural household with one female to assist in economic activities, and they would be given a help to ensure their development within the region, right? The next is child marriage in India. Now, Supreme Court, in response to one of the petitions, that was Society for Enlightenment and Voluntary Action, talked about the detailed guidelines for prohibiting child marriage, and there have been various factors which have been undertaken under it, which talks about a range of factors from poverty to culture to discrimination, lack of education, and weak enforcement, gender biasness. But the laws and the provisions have been very, very important and must be taken into account. Those would be available in the handouts. You can refer that. As we said, this lecture is meant to make you aware of the recent developments, so don't miss any of the topics that we are discussing here. The next is Global Hunger Index. Very, very important. Global Poverty Index, Global Hunger Index. Every time, off and on, you have questions from it. Now, what are the major challenges to it? So, health crisis, gender inequality, income inequality, armed conflict being some of the major ones. Hunger levels in 42 countries are at its alarming level, and the aim to achieve zero hunger by 2030 appears to be unattainable. However, the Global Hunger Index stands at 18.3, which is moderate on the hunger severity, and there needs to be immediate changes. India has been ranking on the very serious category at 105 of the 127 nations, alongside the 41 other nations including Pakistan and Afghanistan. The Global Hunger Index for India is 27.3. That means India has significant challenges for hunger and nutrition, and currently 35.5% children under 5 are stunted, 18% children are wasted in terms of the development, right? So there are expert guidelines on malnutrition in India, curbing malnutrition in India, and focusing on the right diet and the right intake for the young population. The next one is the National Health Account Estimate. There is the National Health Account Estimate, which talks about the overview of the healthcare expenditures in India. Some of the major schemes which which have been talked about are the Health Mission, Ayushman Bharat, Jan Arogya Yojana, National Medical Commission, the Dialysis Program, Janni Suraksha Program, and Bal Swasthya Program, which focuses on women, children, people suffering from acute chronic kidney disorders. So these are some of the major areas under which health expenditures and allocation goes. So the total health expenditure as percentage of GDP has increased from 3.8% to 3.3 to 3.8%, which is a significant amount, and this includes both capital and current expenditure by the government. So government expenditure as percentage of the total healthcare expenditure has increased to 48% from 40%, which is again a big figure. And the out-of-pocket expenses are also a very important factor. However, it has decreased to 48% from 64%. So this out-of-pocket expenditure, if reduced, gives the common man a way for income disposal, right? The disposal income of an individual increases with the same. The next is Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. So under this, all the healthcare would be under a digital network. So it would be an artificial network system where all the health information of an individual would be brought, and that health records could be transferred from one region to another as required. So a person who are moving from one region to another got a treatment in certain good hospital, and coming back to the native city, the doctor would know the basics of the diagnosis and the prognosis that has been done, right? So some of the major pillars of Ayushman Digital Mission talks about inclusivity, free registration, voluntary participation, talking about maintaining the privacy. And this structure itself includes a 14-digit unique identifier number, which would be stored as the health record, and healthcare professionals could actually access that centralized data bank and get the records of an individual as needed. So this digital development is indeed a very great way ahead. The next is work from home. Now, work from home benefits and cost, an exploratory study was done which said that it increases the motivation, flexibility, productivity, job retention, savings, and brings in better work-life balances. So there have been 68% of the companies that continue to implement the work from home even after the COVID pandemic. Half of the organizations have started with hybrid working patterns, and others have remained on a work from home basis. But the work nature is constantly evolving with technology and digital connectivity. There is adoption of technology in the rural areas, and therefore work from home now becomes more smoother, more easier. Some of the companies have talked about returning to office policy, but many of the companies still work on the remote basis, right? Then the next one is One Nation, One Subscription, a very, very important topic in terms of educational development in India for research institutions. Now the government would have one subscription basis which would be provided to the major research facilities and universities across India. So individual universities can refrain from getting access to expensive journals, and as a result, better quality of journals, better quality of research work could be given to many universities across India, ensuring competitive development in those regions. So it would be cost effective, it would bring in better interdisciplinary research and better productivity. Now this would be managed by InflipNet, which is a center of UGC, which would have a fully digital access across all institutions, and Anusandhan National Research Foundation would actually periodically check the usage and the publications by the Indian authors. 13,000 journals from 30 major publishers including OUP, Cambridge, elsewhere would be given access to the major universities and the centers. So a very, very important development in the fields of research. The next is PM Vidya Lakshmi scheme. Now this is to offer financial support to students who want to get higher education, but because of financial issues they aren't able to. So it would provide loans to to the needy students with wider coverage. And if the student is among the top universities which is being ranked under NIRF, obtaining the PM Vidya Lakshmi scheme would become very very easier, and a better guarantee could be given to the student, right? So students hailing from low income families can cover a portion of their daily expense also with the help of PM Vidya Lakshmi scheme. The next is 10 years of polio eradication in India. Now in March 2014, India was declared polio free, which was a major milestone without any transmission of wild polio virus in the last 3 years, and this was based on a rigorous criteria. Now this was with the involvement of global poverty, polio eradication, and the implementation of the immunization program. However, we have seen that this is the case, right? So this is the graph for India, and the graphs for China, Sudan, Pakistan and other nations, as you can see, all are zero except for Pakistan at 12. So this is the fight against polio across various nations. The next is child lacking minimum dietary diversity. So 77% of the children in the age of 6 to 23 months do not meet the minimum dietary diversity. Now this talks about the range of products that a child should get, and the highest failure is accounted in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra with the highest failure rates. So this dietary requirement has to be met across the 8 food groups which have been demarcated for the requirement of a child between 6 to 24 years of age. The next is UNESCO Global Education Monitoring Report. Now this talks about the current holdings of the presidencies and focusing on educational leadership reforms, and focusing on the youth which is out of school and the children which have been out of school declining in number, the key recommendations for the same and the visionary leadership for the same. So those were some of the major topics that we have discussed under the social issues. For your expected topic, we'll be coming up with one more topic under social issues. So stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for joining in. Have a great day ahead.